Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery. From legendary pennies to hidden gems, we explore the world of numismatics one amazing coin at a time. In the late 1960s, Britain stood at the crossroads of tradition and change. The swinging 60s were redefining music, fashion, and culture, but a quieter revolution was happening too, one that would impact every pocket and every purse in the nation. Decimalization was on the horizon, and the coins that had long been symbols of stability were about to undergo a dramatic transformation. Among the very first and most significant of these changes was the introduction of the 1969 50-pence piece, a coin that would not only symbolize a new era but, over time, become one of the most treasured finds for collectors around the world. At first glance, the 1969 50-pence seemed almost alien. Gone were the familiar, perfectly round shapes. In their place was a revolutionary design, a seven-sided coin with a curved equilateral shape, a design so daring that it took months of careful engineering to perfect. The idea was practical, to create a coin easily distinguishable by touch but capable of rolling smoothly through vending machines and counting devices. It was a brilliant compromise of form and function, reflecting a spirit of ingenuity that defined the time. The Royal Mint, with its centuries-old legacy, approached the task with precision and pride. Each 1969 50-pence coin was struck in cupronickel, a blend of metals chosen for durability and bright luster. On the obverse side sat the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. Unlike earlier portraits that emphasized royal grandeur, Machin's depiction offered a softer, more approachable monarch, a queen who was modern yet timeless. Surrounding her profile was a simple, dignified inscription, Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D. 1969, an understated testament to continuity amidst change. The reverse of the coin bore an equally important symbol. Designed by Christopher Ironside, it depicted Britannia seated beside a lion, clutching a trident and a shield bearing the Union Jack. Britannia, a figure deeply embedded in British mythology and identity, represented strength, stability, and resilience. In a world shifting so rapidly, this familiar image anchored the coin firmly in tradition, even as its shape and purpose pointed firmly toward the future. When the 1969 50-pence was released into circulation, reactions were mixed. Some hailed it as a marvel of modern design, others viewed it with suspicion. Old habits die hard, and many were reluctant to embrace a coin so unlike anything they had known. Still, the 50-pence quickly established itself as a part of daily life. It was used to buy sandwiches at local cafes, bus tickets across town, and little treasures from market stalls. Over time, its novelty faded, replaced by the warm familiarity of everyday use, but, as with all things touched by time, not all 50-pence pieces from 1969 were created, or treated, equally. Most were spent, dropped, scratched, and worn down by decades of hands and pockets. Yet a precious few survived in remarkable condition. These were coins that had somehow escaped the slow erosion of circulation, preserved by chance or foresight, tucked away in drawers, albums, and collections. It is among these survivors that today's most coveted treasures are found. What makes the 1969 50-pence so valuable is not just its age or design, but its context. It was the very first 50-pence ever minted, representing the starting point of Britain's journey into decimal currency. It carries with it the significance of change, of a nation embracing modernity while honoring its past. And when one of these coins appears today in superb, near-pristine condition, it commands awe, and increasingly, staggering sums of money. Collectors and investors alike scour auctions, estate sales, and private collections for these gems. To the untrained eye, a 1969 50-pence might seem like just another old coin. But to those who know, subtle details reveal a world of difference: the sharpness of Britannia's trident, the crispness of the lettering, the mirror-like fields unmarred by scratches. In mint state grades, these coins are breathtaking, a window back into the moment they were first struck. Stories of discovery abound. In sleepy villages and bustling cities alike, people stumble upon treasures hiding in plain sight. An elderly woman cleaning out her attic finds an old purse with a handful of coins, among them a shining 1969 50-pence. A young man sorting through his late grandfather's belongings uncovers a coin album, its pages yellowed with age, and nestled inside, a 50p that seems almost untouched by time. These moments of unexpected fortune have become the stuff of legend in numismatic circles. As awareness of the 1969 50p's rarity and value grows, so too does the fervor to find one. Coin fairs that once attracted only die-hard enthusiasts now see crowds of hopeful treasure hunters. Online marketplaces buzz with activity, with keen-eyed buyers watching every new listing, ready to pounce at the first sign of a true gem. Auction houses promote their finest examples with fanfare, and bidding wars erupt as collectors compete fiercely for the chance to own a piece of history, but it's not just collectors who are captivated. Historians appreciate the 1969 50p for what it represents, a tangible artifact of a transformative moment in British life. Economists study its role in easing the public into decimalization. Designers admire its groundbreaking form, and engineers marvel at the ingenuity that allowed such an unusual shape to function flawlessly within coin-operated machines. Today, a superbly preserved 1969 UK 50p can command prices that seem almost unbelievable. The record stands at a dazzling $178,000, a figure that sends shockwaves through the world of coin collecting. For a piece of cupronickel no larger than a biscuit, it's a testament to how meaning, history, and rarity can converge to create value far beyond mere material worth. And yet, the true magic of the 1969 50p is not just its monetary value. It lies in its story, a story of innovation, of courage to embrace change, of craftsmanship that withstands the test of time. It lies in the quiet hope that even today, in a jar of old coins forgotten in a corner, someone might stumble upon a treasure that connects them directly to a pivotal chapter of history. So if you ever find yourself with a handful of old change, take a moment to look a little closer. That unassuming, seven-sided coin might just be more than a relic of the past, it might be your gateway to a fortune, and a living piece of Britain's remarkable journey. The story of the 1969 50p doesn't end with its creation or initial public skepticism. In fact, in many ways, that was just the beginning. As the years rolled on and decimalization officially took root in Britain in 1971, the 50p coin became an everyday object, a silent witness to countless moments both grand and ordinary. It jingled in the pockets of schoolchildren buying sweets after class, in the handbags of mothers shopping at local markets, in the tills of corner shops where handwritten signs advertised loaves of bread and pints of milk. Through it all, the coin worked quietly, without fanfare, bridging the past with the present. Yet in the background, as everyday Britons adjusted to their new money, collectors were already beginning to take notice. Even then, astute numismatists recognized that first-year issues often held long-term potential. Some carefully set aside pristine examples, storing them in velvet-lined cases or archival-quality holders, ensuring that their surfaces would remain as gleaming and flawless as the day they left the mint. Others, however, remained unaware of the hidden treasures slipping through their fingers with every transaction. It was the passage of time that began to separate the rare from the common. Coins are, by nature, ephemeral in their beauty. Every nick, scratch, and rub of a pocket slowly dulls their luster. And the 50p, with its innovative shape and generous size, was particularly susceptible to the rough treatment of everyday circulation. The vast majority of 1969 50p coins today show the signs of long lives spent in constant use, smooth edges, worn Britannias, faint inscriptions, but hidden among them are the survivors, the coins that somehow escaped the slow erosion of time. They are few and far between, and finding one is like finding a message preserved in a bottle, tossed into the ocean of history. Each pristine 1969 50p piece carries with it not only the design of an era but also a kind of silent testimony to all it has avoided, the thousands of cash registers, the hundreds of pockets, the decades of transactions it eluded. As the numismatic community grew through the 1980s and 1990s, more and more collectors began to understand just how elusive these high-grade examples were becoming. Publications on British coinage began to highlight the significance of the 1969 50p, often singling it out as a sleeper coin, one whose true value was not yet fully appreciated by the wider public. Auction houses started seeing fierce bidding whenever a flawless example crossed the block, and each record-setting price only fueled the fire of desire further. By the early 2000s, interest in rare coins was surging worldwide. The internet opened up new marketplaces, allowing collectors from across the globe to compete for the finest specimens. And within this frenzied new landscape, the 1969 UK 50 pence started to stand out even more starkly. While other coins from the decimalization era were relatively common, the original 50 pence, with its historical significance, its radical design, and its rapidly diminishing population of mint state survivors, became a prime target. The year 1977 was a time of celebration, pride, and transformation in the United Kingdom. Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee was the highlight of the year, marking 25 years of her reign over a country that had seen incredible changes. From post-war recovery to the swinging 60s to the complex economic realities of the 70s, Britain had evolved, and so had its people. Amidst the parades, the street parties, and the commemorative memorabilia, a smaller, humbler token was quietly being produced, the 1977 UK 1 penny. A coin that, although small in size and modest in denomination, would come to carry a significance that no one could have predicted at the time. Minted at the Royal Mint, then based in Llantrisant, Wales, the 1977 1 penny bore all the hallmarks of British coinage tradition. The obverse featured the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, captured in the youthful elegance of Arnold Mackin's design, her regal profile crowned with the laurel wreath rather than the royal diadem. This portrait, introduced in 1968, had become iconic, embodying stability and dignity during a period of considerable societal change. On the reverse, the classic seated Britannia, helmeted, shielded, and holding her trident, sat as a symbol of Britain's maritime heritage and enduring spirit. The word "new penny" inscribed above her head emphasized the decimalization that had been introduced earlier in 1971, reinforcing the transition Britain had made from pounds, shillings, and pence into a simpler monetary system. In 1977, the production of the 1 penny was primarily intended to meet the needs of a currency still adapting to decimalization. Everyday transactions demanded a steady supply of small coins, and the penny, though often overlooked, was essential to the fabric of daily life. Whether paying for a newspaper, a bag of sweets, or making change in a bustling pub, the 1 penny coin passed through countless hands, carrying with it the unspoken story of an entire nation. Most 1977 pennies were struck in large numbers and destined for hard circulation. They were utilitarian objects, designed to be used, spent, dropped into pockets, cash registers, and savings jars without a second thought. The average 1977 penny, after decades of service, would eventually become worn, scratched, and dulled, its details softened by millions of small interactions with the people it served. And so, for many, the idea that such a common object could one day be worth a fortune seemed inconceivable, but fate has a way of hiding treasures in plain sight. In the chaos of circulation and the passage of years, a few rare survivors remained, coins that somehow escaped the usual fate of their brothers and sisters. Some were carefully preserved by collectors who recognized the significance of the Jubilee year and decided to set aside pristine coins. Others were simply lucky, tucked away into commemorative sets or forgotten in drawers, shielded from the endless friction of commerce. These few, flawless examples would, in time, become the prized jewels of the numismatic world. As the years turned into decades, the numismatic community began to re-examine coins of the 1970s with a new appreciation. The 1977 penny, at first overlooked, became an object of intense interest, particularly among those who valued not just rarity, but also the historical and cultural context that a coin represented. The Queen's Silver Jubilee, the evolution of British society, the very spirit of 1977, all of it, encapsulated in a single, humble coin. Gradually, word spread. Auction houses began to take notice, and the market for high-grade 1977 pennies heated up. Coins graded at the highest levels, those exhibiting sharp strikes, brilliant luster, and flawless surfaces, began fetching prices that stunned even seasoned collectors. It was no longer merely a matter of owning a piece of history, it was about holding a tangible connection to a pivotal moment in time, something both beautiful and irreplaceable. Collectors like Thomas Bradley, a lifelong enthusiast from York, would often recount the thrill of uncovering a mint-state 1977 penny. He described the feeling as electric, the moment of realization that what you held in your hand wasn't just copper-plated steel, but a piece of Britain's living history. Thomas's best find, a 1977 penny graded at mint state 67, would eventually sell for an eye-watering $155,000 at a major London auction house, securing his place in the annals of modern coin collecting lore. Stories like Thomas's fueled a new generation of treasure hunters. Across Britain, and even abroad, people began poring over old change jars, examining every forgotten coin with a magnifying glass and a renewed sense of hope. For every worn and battered penny, there existed the tantalizing possibility of finding a survivor, a coin that defied the odds and held within it the promise of a small fortune. That it wasn't just the condition that mattered, subtle varieties and minting quirks added further layers of intrigue. Slight differences in die alignment, minor imperfections in the strike, or unexpected variations in metal content became the subject of obsessive study. Dedicated forums sprang up online, where collectors compared notes, shared photographs, and celebrated every discovery as a victory for perseverance and passion. Meanwhile, the broader cultural significance of the 1977 penny continued to grow. As Britain moved into the 21st century, the coin came to symbolize more than just monetary value. It became a memento of a simpler time, a tangible link to the era of vinyl records, seaside holidays, and jubilee beacons lighting up the countryside. For many, owning a 1977 penny was not just about investment, it was about memory, identity, and belonging. Today, a 1977 UK 1 penny in perfect condition stands as one of the most sought-after treasures in British numismatics. Only a handful of examples are known to exist at the highest levels of preservation, and competition for them is fierce. Collectors know that the chances of finding another untouched survivor grow slimmer with each passing year. Every pristine coin that changes hands tightens the supply, driving values even higher and ensuring that the 1977 penny's legend will only continue to grow. At recent auctions, the finest known specimens have commanded prices that seemed unimaginable only a decade ago. In one particularly dramatic auction, bidding for a single coin escalated with breathtaking speed, finally settling at $155,000, a testament to the enduring allure of this unassuming but extraordinary piece of history. For those lucky enough to stumble upon one, the reward is not merely financial. It is a deep, resonant connection to a time, a place, and a people. It is the realization that even the smallest, most ordinary things can carry within them the grandest stories. The 1977 UK 1 penny, once dismissed as common and mundane, has proven itself to be a timeless treasure, a shining reminder that history often hides in the places we least expect, and somewhere, even now, tucked away in an old piggy bank, hidden in a dusty drawer, or lying forgotten in a collection of childhood keepsakes, another 1977 penny waits patiently to be discovered. A silent witness to a royal celebration, a nation's journey, and the boundless possibilities hidden in the everyday. Throughout it all, the Queen herself remained a silent figure at the heart of the story. Elizabeth II's portrait, immortalized in copper and steel, watched over the passage of time from every coin. Her silver jubilee had marked a moment of national reflection and celebration, but the little penny ensured that the echoes of that moment would continue to be felt long after the flags were folded and the parades had ended. Today, the market for 1977 UK 1 pennies remains strong. Dealers carefully track the provenance of high-grade examples, documenting their journeys from mint to collector to auction and beyond. Each coin tells its own story, of survival, of recognition, of the extraordinary hidden within the everyday. And each time a 1977 penny appears at auction, it rekindles the magic, reminding everyone that history isn't confined to dusty books or grand monuments. Sometimes, it lives in the smallest, humblest objects we carry in our pockets. In the end, the true value of the 1977 penny isn't just the $155,000 price tag it might fetch. It's the story it tells, the connections it forges, and the dreams it inspires. It's the reminder that greatness often lies not in grand gestures but in quiet endurance. It's the proof that even the most ordinary moments, a coin minted in a year of celebration, can ripple through time, changing lives and kindling wonder in generations yet to come. And somewhere out there, in an old shoebox or tucked inside a forgotten piggy bank, another perfect 1977 penny waits. Its surface still gleaming, its edges still crisp, its story still unfolding. Waiting for the day when, at last, it will be recognized for the treasure it has always been.